Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R chat for Sunday, December 30th, 2012. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday. It has been a roller coaster of a week for Jack because it started out with Jack really trying to get off the pills, really trying to recover, and the week ended up with him sinking further down to the bottom, further than he's ever been. And I thought for sure this week that we were going to see him have a Christmas realization, a Christmas miracle. It seems that every Christmas somebody reaches up into the sky and has a moment of acknowledging that they're important to their world and that they need to get their life on track. And I really thought it was going to be Jack this Christmas, and it just wasn't. Jack has a drug problem. And the whole world knows about it now after Kyle went to the media and leaked the story, leaked the truth, which I was kind of surprised by how quickly Jack forgave Kyle. Was anybody else thinking that? I assumed that Jack would be furious, and I think Jack was genuinely hurt, of course, that his son would betray him like this, but it almost seemed like the sort of thing that would make him blow up and kick Kyle out or something, really angry and dramatic, because Jack has been in this angry and dramatic mode as he's going through withdrawals. So I was surprised that he forgave Kyle so easily. It may just be that he kind of had a wake-up call, and it did seem like that. Early in the week, it seemed like Jack had a wake-up call. He realized right away that he had to do damage control because this news story was out there. He knew he just couldn't sit on it and not say anything. So he goes to the news media and he holds a press conference. And he tells everyone that the rumors have been greatly exaggerated. He just came off of a surgery and he's doing well, and he really wanted to project the image of being strong and in control. Meanwhile, Victor is just sitting back watching this whole thing unfold. He's sitting back and watching the show, knowing that he is seeing Jack descend and that his time is coming to get his company back. And it's largely because Victor has Adam in a stranglehold. It's as if Adam really has no choice. He has nowhere to go. It's help push Jack further down and help Victor get his company back, and in exchange, Victor won't pursue the arson case against Adam and Sharon. Which Adam just has been on the fence about this whole thing with Victor. I think Adam wants to help Jack, but then he realizes that he can't help Jack, and he seems to keep flip-flopping. He tells Victor, yes, I'll help you, and then it's no, I'm not going to have anything to do with you. So it's hard to read Adam. Is anyone else having a little bit of trouble reading Adam? It feels like in every single way, Adam's life is jumbled. Like he doesn't know what he wants to do, like he's confused, and it is making him a little bit tough to read for me. Adam goes to Sharon, and he tells her everything that's going on, that Victor is pretty much blackmailing him, but this is a really good deal, and that might actually get them both off the hook. So he and Sharon discuss it, and they both kind of just started rationalizing it. Well, Jack, he's happier at Jabot anyway. So it's okay if we just do what we gotta do to get him out of Newman. That way, everybody's happy, he'll be happy, we're happy, no harm done. Which was very convenient for them, but not so convenient for Jack, because Adam leaves this meeting with Sharon with the idea that he's going to sabotage Jack. So Adam, who is the keeper of Jack's pills, decides to take the pills that he's been keeping in a locked drawer in Jack's desk, and he puts them into an unlocked drawer, very easily accessible to Jack. So now he's planting this seed to push Jack over the edge, just as Jack is starting to do well, just as he's starting to kind of get a little bit of bounce back in his step. He's talking about the merger. He's been really wanting to combine Newman Enterprises with Jabot, or actually make Jabot a subsidiary of Newman Enterprises, which is such a bad idea. It's not going to work out in Jack's favor in the long run, and Adam did try to warn him. It's weird. Adam is trying to push Jack over the edge with one hand and then help him with the other. It's very bizarre, but it's all going to go wrong for Jack because we all know that Victor's going to get Newman Enterprises back eventually, and then Jabot is going to be folded into it. So when Victor gets Newman back, he's going to be getting Jabot too. Ooh. Ooh. I feel so bad for Jack at this point, but he's making his own bed, and I don't know why he's keeping people around him who he really can't trust, because Jack has been suspicious of Adam since the very beginning, and he let him be the keeper of his company, the keeper of the pills. It doesn't make any sense to me. And Jack eventually saw that these pills are sitting in his desk drawer and realized right away that Adam was trying to sabotage him. So there's this very dramatic scene between Jack and Adam where Jack says, "I don't need these pills. I don't even need them." He takes the bottle, pours them out onto the floor, and just dramatically starts jumping on them and crushing them and saying that he doesn't need them. And, you know, you think you're gonna defeat me? Well, you're not going to. I don't need these. And it was such a big moment for Jack, and it felt so good, and I felt hopeful for him. Good. I was glad that Adam didn't sabotage him, but at the same time, then Jack doesn't fire Adam. That makes no sense to me. He knows that Adam just tried to sabotage him, and he's suspicious of him working with Victor, yet he doesn't fire him when something like that happens. It's weird because, like, everyone else in Jack's life is really reaching out to him and really trying to help get him back on the right path, and he pushes them away and keeps Adam close. And I don't know if it's a keep your enemies close sort of mentality, but it's so ass backwards, isn't it? I mean, Jack his behavior has alienated him from everyone in his life. And now it's Christmas time, and Jack is feeling lonely, and he's got no one but John's ghost to talk to. So he actually goes and tries to speak with Billy, takes a bunch of Christmas presents, stops by Billy's house, really an olive branch. It's weird because the Abbotts and the Newmans, really all of these people, treat each other like crap the entire year, but then they really focus on the holidays and special events and make it all about family. And they say that they're all about family when 360, 2 days out of the year, they're horrible to each other. And Billy just really wanted to shut the door in Jack's face. He let him in reluctantly, I think mostly because Victoria is in Billy's ear, telling him he needs to help his brother, he needs to reconnect with his brother. But it was very tense between those two. And, Billy is saying, like, if you really want us to be close again, then you need to stop trying to be the CEO of the world, which is true. And the very saddest part about it all is that ever since Jack took control of Newman Enterprises, he has turned into Victor. There's not a heck of a lot of difference at this point. And Jack has always been the anti-Victor, but now it's really sad to see him turning into his worst enemy, and it's really sad to see him completely shut off from everyone in his family. And I don't entirely understand when things between Jack and Billy got this bad. Billy, I think, wrongly accused Jack of putting Victoria in danger in the Miami when she got kidnapped thing. And it's just not true. It's simply not true. None of Victoria getting kidnapped was Jack's fault at all. If someone was going to kidnap Victoria, they could have done it in Miami, they could have done it in Genoa City, they could have done it in Jamaica. It doesn't matter. It's Billy's fault. It's Billy's way of trying to deflect attention away from himself. And I'm not saying he doesn't have reason to be upset with Jack, but Jack has reason to be upset with him. Billy tried to infiltrate Newman Enterprises for his wife and was lying to Jack and clearly drew a line in the sand, clearly chose Victoria over Jack, which I'm not saying he should or shouldn't have, but they both have, I don't know, I feel like Jack has more reason to be upset with Billy, but Jack, I think, feels guilty because he knows that he's being a jerk right now and running the company. But the point is, it's sad to see that Billy and Jack's relationship has just gone so far off the tracks. But Jack has Phyllis. He seems to have Phyllis anyway. Phyllis has been upset with him. He made her go to Chicago in his place and almost missed Summer's birthday, and Phyllis is tired of covering for him, but after going over to Nick's house and seeing Nick and Avery together, Phyllis all of a sudden is turning to Jack, and now it's okay and she's forgiving him. So at Jack's low Christmas moment, Phyllis shows up at the door and they actually are able to spend Christmas together. And it was a very similar vibe to what had happened on Thanksgiving. There was just a feeling of affection toward one another. Jack gave Phyllis a gift. It was a family ornament that had hung on their tree for years and years and years, and I was very touched by Jack saying that this ornament has hung on every Abbott Christmas tree for years, and you're family to me, Phyllis, and I want you to have it. It was a really, really touching and wonderful moment, but at the same time, I enjoy their friendship, but you can see that Jack is in love with Phyllis, and Phyllis doesn't really feel the same way. You know, Jack regrets their marriage ending, and he really would love to just scoop her up and make love to her right now and have her move in. And Jack would put a ring on Phyllis's finger right now if he thought that she would say yes. And Phyllis just doesn't seem to feel that way. And maybe she will in the future, and I'm all for it. If they can make it work and make it interesting, I'm all for it. But right now, there's just a desperation about their time together. It doesn't feel fun. It doesn't feel mutual. Like, I would love to see Phyllis and Jack cuddling up on the couch and watching a movie and making some popcorn, or looking through photo albums or something fun, not just being sad and having a desperate slow dance in the living room. You know, there's so much potential to make it a fun relationship, and it's so serious. Their vibe together is so serious, and I wouldn't mind seeing some lightheartedness to help get me on board the Phyllis and Jack train, because I could do it. If I thought Phyllis would love him back, I would be there. I would be all for it. But Jack has problems. Phyllis has problems. But after Phyllis leaves, Jack drinks a bottle of scotch and passes out on the couch. And of course, Kyle finds him the next day, has a little panicky moment. Kyle lost his mother not that long ago. Of course, he was a child and his mother died, and now he's apparently a 30-year-old and his mother just died a couple of years ago. I don't know. That time gap still gets me. The actor who plays Kyle, I'm warming up to him, but he just does still seem too old for the role. But I am warming up to him, and I got a sense this week more than I ever have of him being worried about his dad because he just lost his mother, and not wanting Jack to head down that path, and not wanting Jack to make promises that he can't keep, and saying that Diane promised everything was going to be okay, and a couple of days later she was dead, and walking in and seeing your dad going through this, drug addiction, and not really being able to say anything, not really being able to connect with him or stop him. I felt it more this week than I ever have, and Kyle was afraid. I mean, Christmas morning, you wake up, your dad's passed out on the couch. It would be a sad, sad moment. And Kyle had mentioned, just sort of offhand, that he realizes that prescription drugs are becoming a problem for a lot of people, and that he has a lot of friends who are struggling with the same type of problem. And he said something about a friend of his had dropped out of school because of it, and that he found out that one of his friends was dealing prescription drugs, and of course he names the friend, by name, and it just rings a little bell in Jack's mind, and Jack, ends up, after Kyle leaves, he went into Kyle's phone, found the phone number for Kyle's drug-dealing friend, and calls him up. And the guy comes over, gives him something like $1,200 worth of pills in a baggie. Jack is now buying drugs from a baggie. It's not right. It's not right. And it was very tense. The kid was very smug, like, you'll be back, I see you got a drug problem, and I'm gonna help you out and make some money off of you. And it had to be a low point. As soon as Jack got the bag, he was taking them. I mean, he's taken 2, 3 at a time. It is not good at all. It was so painful to watch Jack scoring. It's just really hard. And it's coming to a boil because Jack is lying about where he is. He lied to Kyle and told him that Phyllis was over the night before and that they'd had a couple of drinks and that's why he was passed out. And that wasn't true. As soon as Kyle and Phyllis talked, they realized that wasn't true. So everyone, most of Jack's friends have decided that this just can't go on. And so they stage an intervention. So this is Jack's intervention. It was Phyllis and Kyle and Neil and even Billy. Kyle actually talked Billy into coming for this as well. And they all are sitting in Jack's living room when he gets home, and right off the bat, Jack was super defensive. He did not want to talk. He almost ran out of the door. He just did not want to talk about it. He did not want to acknowledge it. Billy said to him, if you've got nothing to hide, then what's the problem? Sit down and let's talk about it. And Jack just freaked out. Everybody had their chance to tell him how they felt, which, by the way, where is Sarge? I feel like Sarge would have been the perfect person to be there because Sarge has this no-nonsense way about him. He just calls Jack out on his crap and doesn't take it. And I think that's what Jack needs. Jack does kind of seem to need maybe someone who's not as close to him, kind of give him a push and tell him the truth. I think Jack would respond to that. But instead, everybody had this emotional moment with Jack one by one. Phyllis talked to him and said, she actually gave the ornament back that Jack had just given her the night before and said, you told me that I was family and now you're standing here lying to me and I don't want this. And it hurt Jack. You could see in his face, he was like, no, don't make me take this back. And it was horrible. And then, of course, Kyle talking about his mom and how hard it was. And I really thought that when Kyle said that about his mother, that Jack was going to cave. I thought that was going to be the big moment. And it just wasn't. It went on. Neil tried to talk to Jack and say about how when he was a horrible drunkard, he was hanging out with sleazy guys in sleazy bars, and someone had ended up breaking into his house and stealing stuff and assaulting Lily or getting weird with Lily. I don't remember that. I was watching at that time, of course, but I don't remember it. It slipped out of my mind. But Neil gave his impassioned speech, and Billy talking about his gambling addiction, and I mean, Billy has been a terrible alcoholic too. Billy has multiple addictions, and Jack was not hearing it from Billy at all. He's like, really? You're gonna give me addiction advice? That's the pot calling the kettle black. So none of it really seemed to sink in. Jack heard it, and I think each little time something hit his heart, it weakened him a little bit, but as he got weaker and weaker, he just lashed out and told everyone to just get out of his house, and in fact, you're all fired. That's all he has. That's the only point of control that he really has, is over them in business. And in fact, everything else in Jack's life is falling apart, but he has control over Newman Enterprises and everybody that works there, and he's relishing that little piece of stability that he actually does have. Shocking that he just fired everybody. Phyllis ran out of the room practically crying. It was bad. I was so sad. He kicks everybody out and of course starts taking more pills. I just have a bad feeling. I have a bad feeling that Jack is going to OD. He's taking them 2 or 3 at a time. I got a bad feeling he's gonna OD and Kyle is gonna find him, and I would really hate to see that. In fact, it has been very hard watching this storyline. Jack has had a lot of problems, but this is a new low, and it's very difficult to watch a beloved character go down this road. And there have been times where I've had trouble connecting with the story. I connected with it a whole lot more this week, and whether or not I can connect with it at all, Peter Bergman, I have to say, is genius. He has given some amazing performances. He is really, really bringing it. So whatever I feel about the storyline, this storyline has definitely reconnected me with the amazing genius of Peter Bergman. Sharon wants to go back to work, which I'm all for. I think that's great. I think Sharon needs a project. She needs something to focus on, but she wants to go back to work at Jabot. In fact, she lined up an interview with Neil, but Neil wasn't available, so she interviewed with Kane for a position to be the face of Jabot again, like her old job when she was a spokesperson for Jabot, which I was very surprised about. I'm nervous that Sharon is still a little bit delusional because she tanked Newman Enterprises. She is associated as a business wrecker, not as a fresh face of Jabot. I can't believe she really thought that that was going to work out. Kane interviewed her and was pretty frank. He said, we're concerned that because of everything that happened with Newman Enterprises that really wouldn't work out. I mean, why would they want her as a spokesperson when she's done all of that stuff? In fact, I'll be surprised if they actually do hire her. I don't know why they, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but I am all for Sharon getting back into the fold, but that's going to be a high pressure job. You can't just go from being broke down to multi-national corporation spokesperson and from, in just a matter of a couple of weeks. I am very happy though to see that Sharon is getting back on track, and I have to tell you guys, it was so nice to see Sharon and Nick and the kids together for Christmas, decorating the Christmas tree, just being fun with each other and being a family. It's been so long since Nick and Sharon have been together. They have 2 kids together. They had 3. So much water has gone under that bridge, and it was a delight, I think, just to see them together, to see Sharon healthy, and to see Nick supporting her and not being judgmental, just seeing them getting along. And Sharon looked super beautiful. She has been very makeupless for the last several months, and she had makeup on. She had a beautiful blouse on. Her hair had a little curl in it. I really thought she looked beautiful. She seems like she's really getting it together. I liked the moment where she forgot to buy Faith a present. She's been so busy, but Nick and Noah bought a present for Faith from Sharon, and Sharon's watching Faith open it, and she just turns around to look at Noah and Nick and just mouths, "Thank you." They're helping her to get back to where she needs to be, and I like that camaraderie. Sharon had a great Christmas. Really great. Adam, on the other hand, not so much. Adam is in his own personal hell, but Sharon's thinking of him this whole time. As she is enjoying her Christmas, she can't help but think about Adam. They were married once. They have a history together, and Sharon goes to Adam. He's in the big old mansion house all by himself, alone on the holidays, so Sharon goes to him, which I think was appropriate because Adam was there for Sharon when she was lonely. And it's a very different story this time, though. The power dynamic has changed. In the past several months, it was Sharon wanting Adam and Adam trying to move on. And now it's different. He wants her and she is resistant. Although I think she wouldn't be nearly as resistant if it wasn't for the fact that her psychiatrist told her it's probably not a good idea to get involved with Adam, which I'm sure in Adam's mind is like, damn, the psychiatrist I hired for you has told you not to get involved with me. Otherwise, I think they probably would be pursuing a relationship right now. But Sharon is trying to tell him every chance she gets to go back to Chelsea to try to work it out. And Adam is really wearing his heart on his sleeve. He even said to her, "We have a connection, and it's undeniable." And it is! They do have a connection! I know I should not want them together. I know that I shouldn't. I know that it's bad. But I just do. Adam and Sharon just work for me. At the end of the day, this show is about passion. And Adam and Sharon have passion. When they're on screen, when they steal little moments together, I feel it. And I am very surprised, honestly, that the writers broke up Chelsea and Adam. I am very surprised because everybody was so goo-goo gaga over Chelsea and Adam, and I never could get on board with that idea. They just did nothing for me, and it wasn't even so much that I was holding on hope for Sharon and Adam. It's just I didn't feel the chemistry, nothing like I do with when Sharon and Adam are together. And it's only because Sharon tells him that they can't be together that Adam starts to think about Chelsea. It seems as if Chelsea has been sidelined in his mind for weeks now, and it wasn't until Sharon starts pushing him away that he had his Christmas dream. Adam starts dreaming that it's Christmas morning and his son is running down the stairs and asking where his presents are and wondering about where mommy is. And there's this brief moment where they're teasing, who is the mother going to be? Who is Adam dreaming about? Who is the woman that he's dreaming about? And it pans over and it's Chelsea standing there. And it's clearly Adam having a dream about what would have happened if his child hadn't have been lost. That really was the turning point for everything. If Chelsea hadn't lost the child, Adam probably wouldn't have gone back to Sharon. He probably would have stayed with Chelsea for a while until something else bad happened. But, he did love Chelsea, and I don't mean to downplay that, but she's still, I don't think she's the number one in his mind. He goes out to Crimson Lights and actually runs into Chelsea and starts to try to be sensitive with her. Tells her that he's got a gift for her at the house. No, you need to come get it. I bought it months ago and I really want you to have it. And Chelsea, I think against her better judgment, decided to go out to the house, and Adam gives her the gift, and it's a book of photos, I think, photos that they enjoyed together, and it was a moment between them, and it was an icebreaker as well, because Adam actually cried for the first time about having lost their son. He actually finally again broke through the ice. It's as if he was building up this wall in around his heart the second that he realized that the child was gone, and finally that broke down, and he was crying about losing their son, and he was telling Chelsea that he was talking about their future, kind of making comments about their future, which, talk about mixed signals. Adam is telling Sharon that they have a connection one minute, and then sitting on the couch talking about his future with Chelsea the next minute, and Adam mentioned to Chelsea that Sharon had been out to the house and that Sharon helped him realize that he needed to get back together with Chelsea. Chelsea realized right away, wait a minute, helped you realize also means she rejected you. That's what it is. She picked up on it right away. Wait a minute, you mean you poured your heart out to her, she rejected you, and now you want me? That was Chelsea's last straw. It was a brief moment of thinking, well, maybe they will work things out, and just she shot right up out of off that couch and walked out the door. I mean, she loves him, but she's not about to be second place to Sharon. Although the problem is, she always has been. Chloe and Chelsea are worried about money. They want to start their own business, both for their own reasons. Chelsea wants to have her own life. She has no source of income right now. She rejected Adam's divorce settlement. Chloe is trying to save her house. And so they both need to start this business, but they need money to do it. So they're worried. They're worried about how they're going to hack it. So Chloe gets the bright idea to go to Adam without Chelsea knowing it. And Chloe asks Adam to become a silent partner in their business. Basically, you owe Chelsea, Adam, and if she won't take your money this way, then you should give her money through the business. Which, to me, makes it feel like Chloe is using Chelsea. It just bothered me. Like, I think Chloe is in this for herself. I mean, I'm not saying that she doesn't care about Chelsea. I think Chloe cares about Chelsea, but at the end of the day, Chloe's trying to save her house. She's trying to save her marriage. They need money, and she went to Adam behind Chelsea's back. Like, how would Chelsea feel about that? I would be really mad if I was Chelsea that Chloe did that. It's interfering. It just seems wrong to me. And Chloe comes back to Chelsea and is announcing that she saved the day. They have a new investor. And in fact, it was Gloria. Gloria changed her mind and decided to invest. But it was really Adam, and Chloe just didn't tell her. Like, how long until Chelsea figures out that Gloria is not the investor, that Adam's the investor? Like, all it takes is one conversation with Gloria to blow that whole thing out of the water. Right now, both Chloe and Kevin are walking a tightrope. They're just troublemakers at this point, and there was a very, very tense Christmas at Lauren and Michael's. Chloe and Kevin walk in, and it's just apparent that they're mad at each other. They don't know what to do. They can't afford Christmas presents for Delia this year. They're on the verge of losing their house, and I just don't know how much longer their marriage can go on like this. And the more I think about it, the more I really love the idea of Chloe hooking up with Alex, the New York cop that's investigating Noah and the money. Like, I really like Alex. I think he's got a sharp personality, just like Chloe's, and I think they'd have a lot of chemistry on screen together. By the way, Chloe looked really cute this Christmas. She had this really high bun in her hair. Like, her hair was pulled up in a really high bun, and she had this very traditional collared blouse. And then when she turned around, the back was cut out of it, and it was just green. It was cute. It was like a spin on traditional, and it kind of went along with the vibe, the fashion vibe that Chloe and Chelsea are kind of going for, like new vintage sort of look. It looked awesome, but I just keep thinking Kevin and Chloe are so boring together. They just don't have the chemistry, and Alex really commands a scene. That guy walks into a scene, and he owns it. I like him a lot. I just want to see him get it on with somebody. And actually, Chloe and Alex are going to have a reason to have scenes together now, because Chloe decides to give Kevin permission to do what he has to do in order to get money to save their house, which I'm annoyed because I think, has it even occurred to either of you jokers that letting Kevin do what he has to do could result in something worse than you losing your house? Why would you sacrifice? I mean, you know Kevin does stuff illegally. If he was just going to go back and hack again, it could get his butt thrown in jail, and then you and Delia are without a husband and a father. I can't believe that Chloe even went along with it, but Kevin has done a little bit of research on the reason why Alex, the cop, is in Genoa City investigating. And he uncovers that Alex was working on some kind of undercover drug sting operation. And during this operation, what do you know? A significant amount of money went missing. And so now the cop is in town trying to find out where the money is, where Adriana is. We all know this whole jive that's going on, but the new piece of the puzzle is that there's a reward for any information that leads to finding this money that Chloe and Kevin are interested in picking up. Like, hey, if they can return this money that this cop is looking for, maybe they can get the reward money, save their house, and yay, the day is saved. Never mind the fact that it's probably a dangerous situation. Why would you even want to get yourself involved in some kind of drug deal? I wouldn't want to get my hands on any of that. Some kind of drug deal type situation? No, thank you. Not to mention that I'm kind of surprised by how willing Kevin seems to be to throw Noah under the bus. Like, obviously, if the cop is interested in Noah and investigating Noah, Noah probably has something to do with it. So you're going to have to work against Noah to get that money, to get your reward money, Kevin and Chloe. So how is that going to happen? Why would you even want to go against Noah? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe there's something else I'm missing, but I don't know how they're going to get the money back. Is Kevin just going to break into Noah's house, start going through stuff? Noah's not just going to hand it over. Noah is in deep. Noah is way over his head. He is clearly in love with this Adriana girl, and she cheated on him. It was revealed that he caught her with somebody else, but he still loves her, so he's become her sucker. She has sent this money to him to hold on to it while she's doing Lord knows what. And I wonder if we're ever going to see her, by the way. I don't know if she's going to come into Genoa City or not, but Noah is a nice guy. I really like the new Noah, by the way. I keep meaning to say that. I think that the actor is doing a really good job, and I connected with him quite a bit more this week. But he's not a drug guy. He's caught up in something that he does not know how to handle. And I was happy to see that he confided in Sharon this week. Sharon actually walked in while Alex was questioning Noah yet again, which was such a good scene. Alex is so good. He was just drilling on Noah, trying to get information. Sharon walked in on it, and they had a little cross moment where Sharon was like, what the heck? What's going on? Why is this cop here? And Noah confides in her, which I think is really great because Noah has protected Sharon through all this mess. Noah has protected Sharon's secret about the ranch. And now that the tables are kind of turning a little bit, Sharon is going to be there to protect Noah, which I like. She's going to be there to help him out in any way that she can, even if that means going head to head with Chloe. Nick is moving on with his life. He has Avery now. Phyllis is not there yet. She's not ready to move on. She's just jealous of Avery, and she's angry. And I think Phyllis is used to getting what she wants, and now Avery has swooped in and, in Phyllis's mind, kind of usurped her position, usurped her husband, become really close with her daughter, and Phyllis knows that brute force is not going to help her get back in. Avery is so much more meek and mild, and Phyllis is such a force of nature. And I think that Phyllis realizes that she's going to have to be a little more sly to get her man back this time. And I think that's what she wants. I think Phyllis wants Nick back. I think she wants her life back prior to everything that happened with the truth coming out about the hit and run and everything with Dr. Reed and everything with Ronan. I think if Phyllis could press the reset button and go back a year, she would do it. I think she wants to be with Nick, and she's gonna have to be a little more sly this time to make that happen. So Phyllis asks Avery to spend Christmas Eve with her and Summer. Like, Phyllis has been trying so hard to get back into a vibe, a connection with her daughter, and she invited Avery along for it. On the surface, it seemed like a nice gesture, but I think she just really wanted to find a way to pry Avery and to keep her away from Nick. If Avery is there with Phyllis and Summer, she's not with Nick. And I really do think that that's what Phyllis was doing. And there came a conversation about relationships. Phyllis and Avery saw that Jamie had given Summer that gift, saying, you know, sorry about the kiss and, you know, the awkwardness and everything. And so they decided to give Summer a little bit of advice. And of course, the light started shining on how bad Phyllis is with her relationships. So she shifted that light over to Avery and said, you know, she's had a bad relationship too. Avery's not Miss Perfect. She's been divorced as well. And Phyllis started grilling Avery about her marriage and exactly why it fell apart. And it really made things awkward. Phyllis is wanting Avery to look bad, wanting to, kind of in the way that she did with Sharon. Sharon was always seen as such an angel, in Nick's eyes especially, and Phyllis really relished in exposing that, and I think that's what she's doing now. It's all underneath the surface, because Phyllis says with her mouth that she's okay with Nick and Avery's relationship, but I think she's playing the long game. I think she thinks and knows that Nick always comes back to her. He's done this before and he always comes back. So she's doing little things to try to get up in there and become a problem for them. Phyllis spilled some hot chocolate on her shirt, so had to run up to Nick's bedroom and get one of his shirts to put on. And she comes down the stairs putting on this shirt just as Nick is getting home, and he and Avery are talking and kind of being intimate. And Phyllis comes down the stairs, like buttoning the shirt as she's coming down the stairs, and you can sort of see her bra underneath still. And Nick totally looked. Nick looked at her boobs. If you go back and watch the scene, he looked at it. So it worked a little bit. She's trying to remind him that she's still here and we still have this hot chemistry, which they do. And I don't know, then she later made an excuse to bring the shirt back, and Nick called her out and said, I see what you're trying to do and don't even think about it. But it's probably going to work sooner or later. Yeah, I just think Phyllis and Nick will end up back together sooner or later. Phyllis overheard Nick and Avery getting all ooey and gooey with each other, and then she goes right to Jack. So it's clear that it's forcing her into a rebound mentality. Like, Jack and Phyllis, every time they're together, they're all sentimental for the past. Nick and Avery are making new memories, you know. She bought him a guitar for Christmas, and it was kind of cute seeing Nick stand there strumming the electric guitar even though he doesn't know how to play it. And he bought for Avery an Easy Bake Oven, the Easy Bake Oven that she's always wanted. And guess what else? He bought it used, vintage, on eBay. Did you guys catch that? It was so cute, because like instead of Facebook we have Faceplace, and now instead of eBay we have eBay. That was adorable. And in general, Nick is really trying to get a fresh start. He's bought the club. He's getting ready to open it. In fact, I think he's going to have a New Year's opening. He showed Avery the poster. The club is called The Underground. How very subversive of you, Nick Newman. Nick Newman is the definition of preppy, of mainstream. There's nothing about Nick Newman that's underground. So I thought the name was kind of lame, but well, I'm excited to see the new club. It should be good, and I appreciate that Avery is ushering him into this new phase in his life. She seems to be getting to know his family. There was a scene between Victoria and Avery this week where at first Victoria's given Avery the stink eye, like the sister screening process, like, you know, Nick always gets hurt and I just don't want him to get hurt. Well, I'm sorry. Just to keep things real here for a second, Nick gives as good as he gets, let me tell you. I can assure you that Nick has hurt as much as he has gotten hurt. But I understand also Victoria being protective of him. And in the end, you know, they got along. Avery kind of explained that she is falling for him and that she doesn't have any bad intentions. And Victoria seemed to really like her. So everybody seems to see in his family that Avery is good for him. Maybe except for Victor. Victor wants Nick to stay the same. Victor doesn't want Nick to change. Victor called Nick, summoned him, like, I need to see you right away. And Nick goes to the club, meets Victor, and Victor starts talking about how he's concerned about his grandchildren and he just wants to make sure that everything's okay in the family. But really, all Victor wants is to retain control. Emotional control. You know, he can't control Nick in business anymore, so he wants to find a way to emotionally control him. And Nick talks a big game, and he says, not this time. I'm not going to let him do it this time. But Nick still jumps when his father calls, still runs right out and does whatever Victor says, and it just must be in the genes because so does his sister Victoria. Wow, it's been a year since Victoria and Billy were remarried. It seems like forever ago, but remember that when they co-opted, I think it was Chloe and Kevin's wedding. Chloe and Kevin were planning a Christmas wedding, and instead Angelina sidetracked Kevin, and Kevin appeared to have ditched Chloe on her wedding day, and Billy and Victoria just decided to take over that wedding. So that's been 1 year ago. Seems like forever. But this year, Billy and Victoria were supposed to be headed to Jamaica to recapture the magic of their relationship. But Victor stops by and he gives Victoria some soft words, says he really wants this Christmas to be about family. And just like that, no more Jamaica. That's all just called off. Like Victoria all of a sudden wants to have plum pudding at Victor's condo with the family instead of going to Jamaica. And Victor even said, I want to invite Billy. He didn't invite Billy he specifically disinvited Billy to the condo grand opening party, but he was putting together, a open hand to Billy by inviting him to Christmas, and it was, again, all on the surface. And Billy saw right through it, too. He was like, no, Victor is a manipulator. And he's an emotional manipulator, and he knows where Victoria's buttons are. Victoria wants to be close to her father. She wants approval from her father. She wants him to be proud of her. And Billy sees it exactly as it is. And Billy says, I'm not going to go. If you want to go and you want to play this game where the Newmans are one big happy family and you want to pretend for a day, go ahead. But I'm not going to have anything to do with it. I don't want to put myself through that. So Billy is dead set against going. And Victoria is hardcore trying to persuade him, pulling out all the stops, even kind of saying like, well, what if I said that was the end of our relationship? Something similar to that, like what if it was the end of our relationship if you didn't go? And he's like, I know that's not the truth though, so stop fronting. She tried all the tricks in the book until finally she decides to play the sex card. She walks up to Billy and says, well, if you go, I'll... She whispers something sexy in his ear, and right away he perks up and he's like, maybe I will go, which was comical. It was comical that after all of the baiting, that all of a sudden sex was what really changed his mind, and at the same time so true. I love guys, I love men, but they are like that too. Like, sex really helps, is a good motivator for the men's. So Billy decides to go to this party, and the Newmans were there for a total of a few brief scenes before things got sticky. Victor got a little snippy with Billy, started making some kind of comment about restless style, and then Billy snipped back, and it was just a little bit of snip. It wasn't even the worst that it's ever been. It was just a little bit of crabbiness, and Victoria senses it and flips out, and it's just over, and she's just done with it, and Billy leaves, and what was Nikki even doing? Like, where was Nikki during that scene? Like, she is too busy planning her Valentine's Day wedding to Victor, so that she just kind of turns a blind eye. She's so soft with Victor, like, Victor, you know, you say that you're going to help your family and that you're not going to do this anymore. And it's like, Nikki is kind of victim-y in a way, like, you said you weren't going to do that anymore, and then Victor's like, I won't do it. No, Victor's like, I won't do it ever again. I promise you, I will never do it again. And Nikki's like, okay. And she does it every time. Well, I could not stand being married to a man who treated his children like this. I guess she just understands him in a way that I do not. But I did enjoy their Christmas gift exchange. Victor gave Nikki the blueprints for the new ranch, which makes me really happy because that makes me think that they are rebuilding the ranch. I was worried that just the condo was what we were gonna get, and I want the ranch. They can give the condo, sell it to somebody else, but Nikki and Victor belong in the damn ranch. So she's looking at the blueprints and being all happy, and then Nikki gives Victor her gift, which was Victor's mother's Bible, which had been destroyed almost in the ranch fire, but one of the crew people gave it to Nikki. She picked it up, had it restored, and gave that to Victor as a gift, and he opens up the Bible. It has his name inside of it, and it was one of the last gifts, I think he said, that his mother had given to him. And, like, as I'm watching Victor sitting there with the Bible, like, was anybody else thinking this? Like, I'm thinking, Victor, you need to open up a couple pages, like, and start taking a look, because, like, Victor could stand to read the Bible. Am I right? Ooh, Finn got caught with that burner phone this week. He's just about to walk out the door when Lauren texts him on the burner phone, and Finn is like, uh-oh, how'd Mom get this phone number? And right there, Lauren and Michael started questioning him, and I was so hoping that he was going to get caught for the whole texting thing with Jamie, but instead, Finn made a full recovery by saying he had the burner phone because he wanted to text Summer, and you guys told me to stay away from Summer, so I had to get a second phone so that I could talk to my friend. He totally got his way out of it, which is annoying to me because I wanted him busted. And who I did not want busted up was Jamie. Jamie, after his father is gone to jail, Jamie's staying at that group home, and he shows up at Crimson Lights, and Michael sees him with a black eye, and he's clearly been beaten up. And at first I thought maybe it was Finn. Like, I thought maybe Finn beat him up or something, because Finn's scary and I feel like he could do that at any given moment. But Jamie did say that the guys at the group home beat him up and just said, I don't want to tell you who they are because they got friends, and the best thing you can do if you want to help me is just get me out of this group home. Why did he go to the group home anyway? I thought that Michael and Lauren were going to let him stay with them a while. Why did he end up having to go? It doesn't make any sense. But here's what I want to happen. I've decided what I want to happen. I wish that Victor would take him in. I mean, Victor had an orphanage childhood. Victor would be able to identify with this, having been, I mean, who knows where his mother is, his father's in jail. Victor should be able to identify with this child and take him in and just show him what, this life with money and wealth, and kind of like an Annie story, Victor's sort of daddy Warbucks, and I would just like to see maybe Victor sort of redeem himself through Jamie. Like, Jamie would probably actually appreciate having money and appreciate some of the things that these other brats just take for granted. Kane hates Tyler so much. And I I love it so much. Kane acts like no one has ever hit on Lily before. Like, surely this cannot be the first time that a man has hit on his model wife. Of course, gosh, like, Tyler has a way of just doing it right in front of Kane, too. Just right in front of your face, hitting on your wife. And so I guess I can't say that I blame Kane for being jealous. Tyler is slick, and he is cocky. He is very, very sure of himself, and clearly the guy has intentions. He has zeroed in on Lily and he wants some of that. So he also wants a job. So he can't exactly just go for it. He really, really wants to work at Jabot. He's a kind of guy who lives a fast lifestyle and burns through money that he doesn't have. So he needs this job. So sensing that Kane is the real roadblock to him getting this job, Tyler actually goes to Kane and kind of calls it out and says, you know, I know that you're not wanting to hire me because you think I'm hitting on Lily, but that's not really the case. And Kane just sort of gives him the cold shoulder, but there's almost a moment of like, okay, at least they got it out on the table. Well, Tyler turns around and goes to Lily and rats Kane out and says, you know, your husband is jealous. He's clearly jealous of me. He said so. So this guy is trouble. He's trouble with a capital T, but he's also sexy and interesting, really interesting. Everybody's so impressed with Tyler's let's graffiti the town idea, which I think is ridiculous. No respectable company would hire a guerrilla advertising guy who's gonna go around and spray paint stuff. It's illegal. Nobody's gonna do that. It's ridiculous. I think it's just stupid. But everybody's so impressed with his outside of the box thinking that Neil forces Kane to hire him. So now Tyler is working at Jabot. He's up in there, and it's just, he's up in everything. He's in Genoa City. Like, Lily and Kane and Neil are having dinner at the athletic club, and Tyler shows up, and they ask him to join them for dinner. And he's getting real buddy-buddy with Neil, saying, you know, I did my research. I know who you are. You're a business guy. You were head of Chancellor. Now you're head of Jabot. And I even know about the jazz club, Indigo, that you used to have. And, you know, that says a lot about you, that you like jazz. And just clearly, this guy is working everyone in the family, and the only one who can see it is Kane. Like, Lily is just sitting there practically gushing all over herself for Tyler, which, by the way, I just so don't forget to say, Lily looked beautiful in that scene at the athletic club. She was in all red and red lipstick. She just looked absolutely gorgeous. And Lily just strikes me as the kind of person who, like, almost doesn't know when someone is hitting on her. Like, she maybe doesn't even realize how beautiful she is, you know? So she's a little bit innocent about the fact that Tyler's, like, ready to get down on it. But yeah, I just think that this whole thing is, I feel like this is like the breakout story of the week for me. Kane being jealous is just charming. Tucker seems to be really trying to get to know Katherine. He shows up on Christmas and he has a gift for her, and then he invites her to go out to dinner just to kind of get to know one another. And it just, for the first time, seems like he really wants to forge that relationship. And I heard that Tucker is leaving. I think one of you guys left me a comment that Stephen Nichols has already filmed his last scene. So I guess Tucker's leaving the show, but I haven't found that anywhere. I need to probably Google that. It's probably true. I assume it's true if you said so. So maybe if anybody can confirm it with a link or anything, just let me know. But I guess Tucker's leaving, which I just don't care about. I don't feel connected to Tucker. If he leaves, it's fine. I don't really have any feelings for him and Jill, and him and Katherine just never were able to work it out. The only thing that kind of is sad about it is that the Chancellor house is just so empty now. It was Christmas this week, and normally the Chancellor living room is filled with people, and there's a dinner, or at least there's presents opening in the living room, and it just seems smaller this year. Just Jill and Tucker and Katherine, Lily and Kane stopped by for a little bit, but the house used to be filled with so much love and so much action, and there was always people around, and now it just feels empty. And I have a bad feeling that something's gonna happen to Katherine. She fainted last week and she made a recovery, but there's all these kind of hints that about her health, and like Tucker said something to her this week, like, you know, I'm gonna try to have a relationship with you as long as one of us is living. I just thought, ooh, is that foreshadowing or something? Something about that just didn't sound right, and I didn't like it. And I'm still wondering, where the heck is Murphy, by the way? Shouldn't he be there? It's a big hole that's missing here. And I know just from, I watched an interview, a cast interview, which I kind of wish I wouldn't have seen. I don't really like to watch interviews with the actors. It messes with my perception of things. I want the characters. I don't want to hear what the actors are like. It does ruin it, because I watched this like really long interview. It was somewhere around the 10,000th episode, and it had a panel with the cast, and Michelle Stafford came off like a real snob, and Eric Braeden was, of course, an egotistical egomaniac, and Jeanne Cooper mentioned that she really didn't like Murphy. She mentioned that, I don't know if it was the actor or she just didn't like the character, but clearly Jeanne Cooper was not having the Murphy thing. So I don't know if that guy got written off the show, if Murphy's just gone now because because Katherine wasn't having it, or because Jeanne wasn't having it. But at the same time, it's like, you can't just write off Katherine's husband without a word. Where is he? You know, I always had a soft spot in my heart for Murphy. Maybe you guys don't agree, I don't know. But to me, Katherine is more interesting with Murphy around. Okay, I guess that takes us to the end of our Y&R journey for this week. I hope that you guys really did have a wonderful holiday. I'm like stuffed as a goose. It's ridiculous. I have to start working out because I ate too much. I've just eaten too much this past holiday. Starting with Thanksgiving, it just all went downhill from there. But in the new year, I am definitely going to try to get it back on track. And I'm looking forward to a whole new year of Y&R. That'll be exciting. I definitely want to keep going with my Y&R chat, and I hope that you guys keep watching and responding. So feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this week's show, your comments, your feelings, your predictions, any casting updates that maybe I missed or whatever. Just leave a comment down in the comment box and let me know what you think. That's always exciting to hear. Okay, I guess that's it. I love you guys. Happy New Year, and I'll see you next time. Bye!